Hello everybody, my name is Coolblue, and I am bringing you guys the Sunday Evening Cup Series Report 2013, November 17th. Yes, I know this is very late, and I'm always very late on these things, but it seems to be a trend, because I really don't feel like working on it until, I'm like, ah crap, okay, whatever, I'll just do it. So it is currently Wednesday, you guys watch this on Thursday if you watch it new, and if you're watching in the future, you don't care, so I'm going to keep moving on. So actually, before I do, I'm going to mention this up front. I decided that because I'm never going to change the PowerPoint, like all the pictures you guys seen last week and the week before that and the week before that and the weeks after this one, same exact PowerPoint, I'm not going to change anything. So I figured, why not add some flair to it? So my question to you guys is, what happens? What happens if you just consistently feed all the time and you finally, like on your team, you consistently feed. You're that one guy who always feeds. And then finally you get on a different team from all the people who you're playing against. What happens to you? Well, I'm just gonna let you know, you probably get a visit from one of these guys, or possibly all four at the same time, because I don't know about you, but they look very threatening. So, the Dota 2 Mafia is there right there, Omni Knight in the top left corner, Anti-Mage, and you got Night Stalker down at the bottom, and Zeus, of course, because who is gonna need to pop that ult when you try to run away? Because we know you're gonna try to run away. So anyway, shout out to, I'll give credit to Big Green Pepper. Big Green Pepper on DeviantArt. I did just find that picture randomly. It was just a Google search. I thought it was pretty awesome. So anyway, that'll change things up. So hopefully nobody will get bored with these videos like me. Not that I'm getting bored with the videos. It's just the same thing every single time, which it should be. That's what it's all about. So anyway, as far as the topics for this week is the usual type stuff that you guys come to expect, know, and love, hopefully. I'm basically going to give you guys a tournament report, speak on a few things or a few statistics on the tournament, and also give you guys a comment of the week. Then I'll go into the issue report, where I basically just talk about some of the things that need to be spread out to everybody who's involved in the tournament, and potentially everybody who's watching the tournament, so they can know that what's happening in the background, and what we're working with, and what we plan on fixing. As far as the awesome report goes, that is just basically the opposite of the issue report. That is awesome things that are happening in the tournament, because not everything is negative. Not everything is negative. There are a lot of positive things that do happen because of the Sunday Evening Cup series that happens every week. It's a very hectic series, yes, but like I said, awesome things happen, and I would hope awesome things would happen because there's a lot of people involved and a lot of time. Like roughly 7 hours each week, but let's not talk about that. I'll talk about my Coolblue's thoughts. And speak of the devil, look at the next point right there, guys. Coolblue's thoughts. Basically, I just pick a topic that I'll randomly talk about, and I think this week's topic will definitely be one that I'll actually talk on. I don't think I have yet to actually do a Coolblu's topic, like a legit Coolblu's topic. So let me write this one down because I learned last week that I cannot remember. So I'll talk about the time for tourney. Alright, that'll be Coolblu's thought. We'll talk about that once we get to that. It's basically a rant. It'll probably take me like 5, maybe 10 minutes max, and I'll just talk about that one thing. And the last thing, of course, is the summary, because I want you guys to make sure you took something home with you. This is like the main points, like the key points I'll mention in the summary, just repeat it again so you guys remember, oh, okay, those are important things, this happened, that happened, and just basically summarize what happened in the report. I mean, it's a summary. That's what it's for. So starting off with the tournament report, congratulations to Ham Club, which I think their full team name is Ham Clubhouse, which is freaking awesome because now I get here admitted to everybody in the world, even though some people who've watched the games that I've casted in with them in it, they know this already. But Hamtaro, that was a freaking awesome show. I love the crap out of that show, and yes, I do legitimately like that show. I like that show equally to somebody who likes My Little Pony, who's a brony. I'm not saying I'm that hardcore or anything, but that was a really good show. I mean, yeah, it was silly. It was a kiddie show, but it came before Dragon Ball Z, which is why I watched it. Actually, guys, that's totally not the reason. The reason why I watched it is because it came on after Totally Spies, which is another freaking awesome show. And you can judge me all you want, but I won't give any cares. Those are freaking awesome shows. They were well made, and I'll give the creators credit where they're due. Totally Spies, Hamtaro, and then Dragon Ball Z. Who, I mean, what more could I want to come home to? After school, a long day of school, doing homework that I wish I could go back and do because it's a lot easier than what I'm doing now. Anyway, ticketed match numbers. So as far as the ticketed match numbers, we had 20 this week as well as we did last week. And I've spoken this before. I think Dota TV only lets you post 4 at a time at any given time. So whenever the tournament is going live, if you have like 20 match or 16 matches getting casted all at once, it's only going to display the 4 most recent ones, like the 4 ones that started first. so I guess not the most recent, the 4 ones that started first. It'll post those. So basically we have 5 rounds of 4 posted, so we pretty much got maxed out. So which is a really good thing. That means that we're getting a full coverage all around the tournament, and I'm freaking excited about that. But it's also a bad thing, because that means some of the matches that were casted are not being ticketed, and it's kind of concerning to me. So I'm still going to keep doing more research, because my research has not been as in-depth as I would like it to be, so I can confidently say that yes, that's absolutely what happens. But it seems that that's what's happening, and if that's what's happening, then it's going to be pretty sad, because I feel like other tournaments that have full coverage of everything, they might be getting ripped off, or maybe they have more match. I don't know, I'll figure it out. Eventually. Everything is eventual with Cool Blue. And speaking of eventually, let's talk about this chat comment of the week, because this one, I couldn't really find anything that stood out, like it's like hilarious or anything else, like a super serious one. So I just basically found one that was like a general thought that somebody posted, and the question, or sorry, a general thought that somebody posted. We basically had a conversation about this, and I will be talking about this in the issue report. But this is about punishments, I guess, to some extent. It was made by Bricks at 6:32 p.m. It says, can they lose like 100 seconds on their bonus time on today's tournament on all games during their draft stage? And the reason why I posted this as a chat comment of the week is not because like a super funny or a super serious, well, it's kind of serious, but not super serious, was because one thing that we haven't really established is like, you know, punishments for players other than disqualifications, which we will be definitely talking about that too, coming up very soon. So keep your ears peeled for that. But we haven't talked about anything outside of disqualifications, and I feel like DQing teams sometimes is a little bit too much, especially for like a specific instance like this one that we're about to talk about. But this is basically a question that came up from somebody from a team that got disqualified because of something that we'll talk about soon. And actually, no, I won't explain it here. I'll explain it there. So let me go ahead and skip forward and talk about, oh, not backwards, forward, and skip onto the issue report. So before we talk about disqualifications and whatnot, let's talk about me personally as an admin, Cool Blue and the Blue. What I mean by that is Cool Blue and the blue screen of death. So my computer is not immune to blue screens of death. My computer is, I really need to figure out what's going on with it. But it could occasionally blue screens of death, or hits the blue screen of death, and it usually does it at the worst possible times. But all that said, there are times where it has blue screen at, like I said, the worst possible time. Like the first week, the very first week, this is why a lot of issues were happening in the very first week. I was doing stuff in the chat, and like we were doing check-ins, and then we decided to do manual check-ins, which means I had to keep track of all of the chat that was happening inside of the NA Dota chat, because that's how we do all this stuff for people who that's how we used to do all this stuff for people who are checking in before we did the automated stuff on Battlefy. And yeah, like everybody's typing in the comments, and I was trying to like, you know, log it on the side in like a Word document or OneNote, because I use OneNote. OneNote's freaking awesome. Shout out to you, Microsoft, for making OneNote. And I was trying to move as fast as I could, and then my computer just blue screen. So what that meant is that meant 3 things. One, I was late on finishing the manual check-ins because I gave them about, like I said, okay, the brackets will be posted in like 5 minutes, but my computer blue screen. It takes my computer about 5 minutes to reboot. After like fully reboot and get back into Dota and everything I need to get into after a blue screen. So that wasn't fun. So people were mad about that. The second thing that happened is that made me lose all of the chat that I had in the NA Dota Steam chat, which sucks a whole lot because that means I couldn't track everybody who posted a comment after I blue screened and while I was blue screened. And the third thing that did as well is that kind of just threw me off my game, as if I had game, but it threw me off a game a little bit. So like I couldn't properly say that everything was going to be going smoothly from there on out, and things did not go smoothly as they should have, as you guys should know by now. But the first week was a disaster. I had a blue screen of death happen to me. Actually, this last tournament too. It happened to me while tournament matches were going on, like towards around of 8, so it wasn't that bad. I didn't lose too much because I already saved things. But I was letting you guys know that my computer does have some issues. I am prone to occasionally blue screening, and I'll probably blue screen at the worst possible times. That doesn't mean I'm not like trying to furiously hard to get back into there and to communicate back with everybody. But I'm just letting you guys know. Extended explanation: my computer does blue screen. I do have issues sometimes, and I know I cannot run OBS, Dota, Skype, and also my third monitor, a little third mini monitor I have, at the same time, because my computer is guaranteed to blue screen within 5 minutes. So Yeah, I gotta like go update parts and stuff, but I don't have money for that, so I just gotta work with what I got. Moving on to the next point, the waiting game, and this is where we start getting to talking about disqualifications. The waiting game. Basically, as far as our rules go, we don't have an official rule for how long you have to wait before you can get a disqualification, or the other team gets a disqualification between matches. And this, like I said, this is relative to the players in the matches. So basically what happens is there's a team who's done playing their match. Let's say they just won their match and they're moving to a round of 16. So they're done playing their match and now they're waiting for the other players, the other team, to get done and get into the lobby. So the reason why we don't have a set time specifically is because it's kind of hard to match up the times, because let's say the first team who got into the lobby first, their match ended in 15 minutes, including the draft time. Like, it was just that fast. It was just that fed that early, and the other team just fed and just gave up 5 minutes to the game. And the team that they're going against, say their match lasted a whole entire hour long. I mean, it's really hard for us to say we're going to disqualify the other team because they took too long to get into the lobby for the team who's done really fast. And that wouldn't be fair, that wouldn't be right. We all know that wouldn't be right, and we understand that. But the thing that makes it a little bit more hard to pin down as far as a rule is the fact that when a team does finally finish a match, like after an hour-long match, you know, some players might say, hey, I need to go pee, or hey, I want to go like get some water or something. So while the tournament is huge and we don't really have all that much time to actually have players have breaks in between matches, we kind of just want everybody to just keep playing until you drop out, or until you win the entire tournament, until you're like, you know, the victor of the week. Just like the team who won this week, which was Ham Clubhouse. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. I already gave them congratulations. But my point being is, like, it's really hard for us as admins to give a proper time to say, okay, your team that was in this lobby for 60 minutes. Yeah, okay, that's an automatic disqualification for the enemy team. It's kind of hard to do that. But that said, it has come to our attention, and it has already been in the back of our minds as admins, but it has come to our attention that we do officially need something written down as far as how long a team has to wait before the other team gets, or the other team that hasn't showed up fully gets a disqualification. And I'm going to see if my next point is going to move into that. Nope, okay, never mind, not yet. But as far as how long they have to wait, so the rule that we're going to go by, the rule that we went by, but it wasn't written down, so it was really confusing, is that it's basically your team is in the lobby, and while you're in the lobby, say you waited for about 5 minutes, then you contact the admin and say, hey admin, we've been waiting in this lobby for 5 minutes, and the other team's not here. How long do we have left before they're disqualified? Well, the official rule that we're going to have written down in the Battlefy page, and I'm going to write a note to make sure I remind myself to actually do this, because I have to go add it in. Alright, but enough suspense. The official rule is basically going to be, it's going to be 20 minutes from the time that you contacted the admin. Now, as far as the admins, the main admins, me, and also Gogey, he's my assistant admin, or he's the person who's making sure everything doesn't blow up when Cold Blue's occupied with other things, like people and their conversations and arguments and complaints and issues and teams. Just people. Not saying I hate it all, not saying it's all bad, but it's time consuming sometimes, which is what my rant's going to be about, so I'll hold it until then. But basically that's going to be the rule that we go by, so we're going to have it written down so everybody knows that up front. Basically, like I said, it's 20 minutes from the time that you contact the admin. Now what that means, or sorry, that does not mean that you can jump into the lobby and wait 1 minute, then contact the admin, and then we'll count down 20 minutes, and then the other team gets a disqualification. No. The reason why it's 20 minutes from when you contact the admin is because the admins are going to have to go in and check to make sure the other team's not still playing. And if they are still playing, the admins can say, oh, okay, they're still playing, so that doesn't apply, so you can't disqualify them yet. Or we can't start the timer of 20 minutes. But say the other team is done playing and everybody said, hey, let's go to McDonald's and have I don't know, whatever you get at McDonald's. Let's go to McDonald's and get diarrhea. And they're gone for like 40 minutes. Now, and then the team that was in the lobby, they finally contact us and say, hey, this team's not here, and then the admins will start counting 20 minutes down from that. So after that 40 minutes, I have to wait an additional 20 minutes before any call will be made, and if a call does get made, it will likely be a disqualification. And by disqualification, I mean that team has automatically lost the game, the victory goes to the other team, and the other team gets to continue going through. That said, disqualifications part 2. Oh my god, this week was it's not that it was bad, it was just like this one thing happened. Like things were going so well and then Cold Blue just had to go be an admin. So basically what happened with this week was there was an issue that happened mainly because of a very quick and haphazardly made decision by one of the admins, namely Cold Blue. Actually just Cold Blue. It wasn't the other admin, it was just me. Where basically a team got disqualified, unrightfully disqualified. And the reason for that was basically because another team complained and said, hey, we're starting the match, but we've been waiting for like 40 minutes in the lobby. And I was like, oh, okay, don't worry about it then. We'll just call it disqualification of the other team. It's fine. Just let them know that they're disqualified and keep going. And this was all made without prior research, meaning that I basically just went off the words that came out from the one team and said, we've been waiting in the lobby for 40 minutes. And I said, okay, cool, disqualification of the other team. And then the guy from the other team, he contacted me and he said, hey, this match just ended, and he said I was disqualified, like they just all left the lobby, like what's going on with this? And I basically said, oh yeah. He was saying that you guys weren't ready, they've been waiting for 40 minutes, and you guys weren't there, and I just gave you guys disqualification, you guys are out of the tournament, I'm sorry, hope you guys come back next week. Something along the lines of that. And then the guy from the other team, he basically said, hey, no, we were here this whole entire time. We actually started the match. This is our second time starting this match. Like, we started the match the first time, and then everybody on the other side disqualified because they wanted to contact the admin. And then, like, 10 minutes later, we finally started the match again. And once we were in the match, like, we got through, like, the first 3 picks, and then they all left again. And then they contacted me and said, hey, you guys got disqualified. And it's like, what the heck's going on with this? Like, we actually started a match. Why are we disqualified when we actually started the match and the other team canceled the game? And then they started another game, and then we got a disqualification because of that. So it was an extremely sticky situation. Of course, if I could go back, I probably would have ended up doing the same exact thing. Not because I'm a mean person, not because I'm a person who's quick to jump to decisions, but because I probably would have just done the same thing. I probably just went off the words of the same person again. But I would much prefer for all of us as admins to just take our time and think about these decisions, because once we make a call of disqualifications, I told you guys last week that we like to keep our calls, like the calls that we make on the field, we want to keep those as strict as possible. So like if we say something is happening, we're going to stay with that unless it's some extenuating circumstance. Now keep in mind, this specific situation was technically an extenuating circumstance, but by the time we finally got to the point to where I said, oh crap, okay, I messed up, I made a call way too fast, I should just let you guys play and just let it go. By the time we finally got to that point, it was about, like, I don't know, 40-50 minutes afterwards, and both teams could have played an entire match by now. But I was still doing my research that I should have done the first time and should just let them play. So anyway, so as far as the teams that were involved in that, I will post those comments in the Google Doc, or in a Google Doc, and I'll label it appropriately. But as far as the teams that were involved, was Bind's team. That was the team that was disqualified wrongfully, and Knockout Kings, that was the team who got the victory because of this disqualification. And it was a really crappy situation for me as an admin, and also for Bind's team, and also to a certain extent for Knockout Kings too, because there was a point in time in the conversation, like I said, this conversation lasted for like 50 minutes, but like with me talking to both captains, just trying to figure out what was going on and figure out what decision I was going to make and what decisions we were going to change. And it got to the point to where Knockout Kings almost got disqualified because they weren't responding to the admin fast enough, and it was like, I'm just, like I kind of had to. Okay, hold on. This is the part I'll read it. I'll find it. Hold on. I probably should have highlighted, because I felt like a boss when I made the comment, but then again, I looked back and said, no, this whole entire situation was created because of me. Yeah, and it wasn't a nice situation all around. Like I can't really go around and say I was feeling like a boss because I you know, put down the admin hammer and put the band hammer down and got a team disqualified, because I don't feel good about the situation because it didn't happen for rightful or it didn't happen naturally. It just happened because, like I said, I made a decision extremely too fast, and I feel really bad for the team buy-in. They were actually doing really well. They made it to, I think it was round of, no, it was the second round. So they won their first game, and the second game they lost because of disqualification. It was like to go to your players and say, okay, you guys are all ready, but we can't play anymore because we're disqualified. It really sucks. Anyway, all right. So I can't find the exact point where I basically said to the team that was continuing on, because they decided to go play some 1v1 Puzzle Wars or something, whatever it was. And I was like, look, dude, okay, like I'm trying to figure out the situation. You're not responding fast enough. You're putting yourself in risk of getting disqualified yourself, and you probably don't want that. So he's like, oh crap, I'm sorry. So he finally, started paying attention, and we finally got the conversation done. Anyway, moving on to the next part, ringers and substitutions. I talked about this before. I talked about this as well. I think the very first week I talked about this too, or no, first week I was too worried about the problems we were having. Anyway, ringers and substitutions. As far as this goes, like I said, there's no written rule, and there's a written rule. The written rule that we go by is basically you're allowed as many ringers, as many subs as you want, but what we will much prefer for you to have is to have the most updated as possible list at the start of the tournament. And also, there's another rule too that we need to write down as an unwritten rule once again, and we know how unwritten rules go. It leads to people getting disqualified for no apparent reason because Cool Blue jumps to fast decisions. But as far as the other rule goes, or the other part of it that goes that we need to add to it, is basically if you have a ringer or have a sub that's on another team that has competed in this tournament, and you guys actually play a match, you're going to get automatically disqualified, no questions asked, because that is not cool to have somebody who's on a different team who, I don't know, whether they won or lost, it doesn't matter. If the team that you got a sub for, like say they're in the round of 4 and you're all the way back in the round of 16 because some hold up happened, and somebody from the round of 4 decided to, hey, yeah, I'll go help this team out win so they can hurry up and get through here while their sub, or while their other player who normally plays with them is like going to, I don't know, Walmart and getting some food or something. And they play for you. That's basically going to result in a disqualification. And we, of course, the admins, we catch wind of it because somebody's going to complain about it. We, the admins, will basically disqualify the team that's in the round of 4 and also disqualify the team that is in the back that's trying to catch up in the round of 16. So it's going to be a very, very bad situation. We're going to be extremely, extremely strict. Not really strict. That's not the right word. We're going to come down pretty hard on you guys if that does happen and we catch wind of it. So our point being, if you have ringers, if you have a sub, let it be somebody who's not in the tournament already, because that is not fair to the players. That is also not fair to the team that has the sub. Like if the team is still in there, like a team's still in the match, and their sub is still playing in the match in the previous spot, while their match is about to start and they can't start because they need that guy to come back into their team. I mean, that's not fair for anybody. That's not fair for the team that's not fair for their opponent. That's not fair for the team players that are actually there ready to play. That's also not fair for the players in the back who are trying to catch up, who are playing against the team with the ringer, because they're probably going to face that person again if circumstances do provide fruitful for everybody. So anyway, my point being, subs, please let it be somebody unique. Don't let it be somebody else who's playing in the tournament. I know this tournament is I know this series is all about growing team camaraderie, getting exposure for players, and also letting people just get to know each other. Like say, hey, you're on team Magikarp. Hey, we're from team Typical Mistakes. Let's go make scrims or go have scrims or join forces or whatever. But we kind of don't want that to happen. Not in the same tournament, at least. So anyway, moving on, because I've spoken a long time about issues, as I should. I spent the whole entire how many minutes? Of course, 24 minutes, guys. I'm getting along with this. I'm getting better. The Awesome Report, as far as that goes, the first thing on the Awesome Report is, of course, issue report. No, check-in and got-in. Basically, this is a testament to how awesome things are going. We are finally getting our act together as admins, and we are finally getting everybody in who's checked in. We got everybody who checked in through the alt check-in and also through the actual check-in got in. And nobody was complaining about it. The only issue we had was there was one team who had to actually back out, and I forgot to remove them, so they were actually checked in when they shouldn't have been checked in. So it was technically a bye for the other team. That was a slightly bad situation, but let's not mess up this moment, guys. We got everybody checked in who checked in. Nobody got left out that was actually there and ready to play and actually checked in properly. So yes, this is my moment to say yes, clap to me, and also clap to the other admin, Gogey, and also to everybody else, all the teams and stuff for cooperating with us and actually checking them properly so we wouldn't have any issues. As far as the next part goes, of course, I told you guys last week as well that I am the creator of a group called CastNet, or Casters Network. That is the group that basically is providing a lot of the coverage as far as the casters go. As far as the casters for, not really the main casters, more so the side casters. The casters who cover other games when the main casters are covering their games too. And as far as Casters Network goes, basically it's just a group where I connect people who are casters and to say, hey, there's an event coming up here, you should probably go for that. Or hey, there's this other caster here who needs a co-caster, you should probably try to go hang out with them or something and see if you can work something out. The whole entire point behind CastNet is basically to just get casters to come together so they can communicate with one another, because it's really hard out there sometimes to find other people to cast with. But enough of my personal plugs. My point for bringing this up is basically Casters Network and casters. We are getting to the point where we're having too many casters for the Sunday Evening Cup series, which is excellent, because what that means is that we can have time for other casters, like our main casters might want to take a break for a round. They can take a break because we got caster coverage out the wazoo. We got enough casters to cast the whole entire round of 32, which is going to be my goal. That is our end goal. I want to be able to cast every single match in the Sunday Evening Cup series and have it ticketed. Now that is going to be nigh impossible for the first season, I can tell you guys that right now, because I don't think we'll be able to move fast enough as admins to create all those lobbies. But maybe in season 2, because I'm pretty sure there will be a season 2, because this tournament series has proven to be successful, and possibly in season 3 too. Might be more likely in season 3 than season 2. But the point is that we have a lot of casters, so huge shout out to everybody who's coming through Casters Network to cast for us for the Sunday Evening Cup series. Also, I guess a self shout out to Casters Network from Cool Blue to Cool Blue. I know it feels kind of weird talking about my own group, but yeah, shout out to Casters Network. Thank you for providing services. And okay, let's move on to the next point. Item drops in the Sunday Evening Cup series. So we all know, well, if you guys don't know, for all the players in this tournament, because you may not know. Actually, no, you probably do know, because you probably watched some of the events after your team may or may not have lost, or while your team is waiting to play the next game. But item drops are activated on our tickets. I actually got one of the items in one of the tournaments, and I was kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm the admin. I don't think I'm supposed to be getting drops, but I got like an Earthshaker bracers. They were common, but they were item drops, so I felt special. But also another thing on top of that is you can also get item drops through Twitch TV. What has to happen with that though is that the caster, the person who's actually streaming, they have to have their Steam account connected with their Twitch TV account. And if that is connected properly, then the people who are in the Twitch TV viewer pool, like if you're watching through somebody's stream, you're just as eligible to get an item drop as somebody who is watching a Dota TV. Now, of course, the casters and also the viewers have to have their stuff connected too. So basically, if you're a viewer, you have to have your Twitch connected to your Steam, and if you're a caster, you have to have your Twitch connected to your Steam. You have to be in a match that has drops and stuff. So it's a lot of bureaucracy. I do agree, but it's possible. You can get item drops on Twitch TV, guys. Go look it up for anybody who's wondering how to get all that connected. I could tell you here, but I mean, there's YouTube videos, so why would I do it when other people have told you? Just a suggestion. And the last point I'll bring up in the awesome report is, of course, shout out to admin Gogey. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I feel like I am, but admin Gogey. I mentioned him a few times already. He's the other admin. He's not really the assistant admin. He's more like the other admin, as in like the guy who's there on the ground with me to help run this event, because this is a huge event. There's a lot of people to deal with. 64 teams max per event, and also, actually no, probably, yeah, still more than that, because we might have issues in the backside where we have more teams sign up than can actually play, and then we have to talk to them and explain to them why things are going on. So 64 teams, multiply that by 5, because there's 5 players per team, presumably, not counting stand-ins. And if you count stand-ins, let's just say, no, let's keep it 5. So 5 times 64. So that's 320 people we have to deal with. Not necessarily 320 people. Technically, we only have to deal with 64 because we communicate with the team captains, but potentially 320 people to deal with. And if without Gogey, I think I would have died already. So huge shout out to you, Gogey. You make everything work much better than if Cool Blue were just here, because between my issues and the way I talk to people, like I like to hear people out and hear what they have to say and let them explain themselves or try to reason with them, and that takes up a lot of time, and that means I can't focus my time elsewhere, or I can, but it'll be very, very, very split and far and few in between. I forget things. So Gogey, you definitely help me out. You do quite a bit to help this tournament run. I think you guys should all know Gogey's name. He's the other main admin aside from me. So yeah, hats off to you, Gogey. Shout out to you. This is my moment that I gave to you because I gave one to PRB last week. Shout out to you, PRB, as well. And just shout out to all the other admins out there who are working for the SN Eating Cup series. Shout out to Spit-Wad. Heck yeah, he's the main admin. He's the guy who got me this job, or volunteer thing. So yeah, that was done. That's all done. And Cool Blue's thoughts, the brief off-topic talk. I can finally talk about this one because I didn't spend too much time talking about things. At least I don't think I did. But the talk that I was going to give this week for the first week, so the first talk I'll ever give, is basically time for tourney. So as far as time for tourney, I mean the tournaments start at 5 and they usually end at 12. So I don't know if you guys can do math fast enough, but that's basically 7 hours worth of tournament time. And what that basically means is that we as admins have to spend all 7 hours hanging out with you guys, which is not bad, but to put that into perspective, that's about the time that you spend doing a normal job, like a 9 to 5 job. That's a lot of time. So, and also we don't get lunch breaks. Well, we technically do when the downtime happens. But anyway, my point being, there's a lot of time involved in admins running a tournament this size. And just running a tournament in general, there's a lot of stuff that goes in the background and the foreground. Like, this is background stuff, or actually foreground stuff. This is the face of the tournament. This is what you guys see to get your updates. If you guys do follow the series, thank you so much for following the series. And if you guys don't really care, but you just watch this video sometime in the future, then thank you for watching this video. And thank you for making it this far to hear my thoughts. But all I'm trying to say is there's a lot of things that go into running a tournament, and time is a huge factor. Time is a huge one. Now, keep in mind, as admins, we're not like going 100% all the time. It's usually only like we go like 130% in the first hour and a half, because there's so many people to deal with, there's so many issues that pop up, and so many things happen all at the same time. Like, this team didn't get checked in properly, that team has a disqualification that they want to complain about, this team has a team that paused for 7 minutes already, and then that guy down there, he has to go somewhere, like he has to go to a funeral or something, he forgot, and he wanted to play Dota instead, but no, they forced him out of his room, so they can't play anymore, so they want to drop out of the tournament. And then this team over here, they won, but they thought it was a best of 3, so they started another match, and it's delaying everything. And like, all that happens at the same exact time. And it's fun sometimes to like juggle conversations, but it's not fun when you're dealing with people who are trying to get, or who are getting disqualified, and you're also dealing with teams who are pausing for too long, and it's just not fun sometimes. Actually, no, I just take it back. Not sometimes. It's just not fun in general. It's just not fun. It's manageable. And once you do get through it, you feel better about yourself because you make things go through, and it's like, yes, I did that. I accomplished the impossible. I did this properly, I did that properly, I may have screwed that one up a little bit, but hey, I did all these things at the same time, and I feel good. So anyway, like I said, the first 90 minutes is probably us going 130% doing that. And then as soon as we start getting to like the round of 16s, or round of 4s, or round of 1, or round of 2, it's not that much work because, I mean, things are going by themselves. Like, the casters are picking up their own matches. So if there's a team available and the casters want to cast it, they literally just go on their free will and say, hey, we'll cast it. They ticket the match and they go. But initially starting though, like, we got to make the brackets, we got to make sure teams are happy, we got to make sure matches are happening, we got to make sure we keep track of who's, what scores have come through, and it's really hectic. So anyway, all that goes along with to say that that whole entire 7 hours that I mentioned before, it's not like we're sitting 7 hours going 1000% balls to the wall, get this tournament as smooth as possible. We're just going through more so, like, 90 minutes, hectic, and then like very quiet 3 hours, and then maybe a little something spikes up after 3 hours, and then we deal with it for an hour, and then afterwards it's like, oh, the event's going on by itself. Hey, look, the finals, and we literally just watch the finals while everybody plays, and then we pat ourselves on the back because we feel awesome. So anyway, that ends it for Cool Blue's thoughts. That was my brief off-topic talk on time. Keep in mind, 7 hours, that's a lot of time to donate or dedicate towards anything. So if anybody's thinking about becoming an admin, I will caution you to make sure you have the time to dedicate to adminning. I wanted to be an admin and a caster, but as far as, or between homework and also between managing people, it's not really possible. Homework takes precedent over everything, and managing people takes precedent over casting for me. So I just let everybody else cast, and as I stated before, we have a lot of casters available to us. We have a lot of resources available for casting, and I'm super stoked about that. I also have another thing. Oh yeah, it's my off-topic top. Okay, sorry. I know I was going to talk about one thing, but I'll talk about another thing too. This is slightly not related to NA Dota or the Sunday New Cup series, but with Casters Network, because that is the group I created. Like I said, I do have big plans for that. What I want to do one day is basically do like a, well, I was going to do this with the Big Point tournament that's sponsored by Join Dota. Which I basically was going to call the Big Point Invasion, where basically we just have every single match casted for them, and they to put that into perspective for all those who don't know, the Big Point Battle has like 128 teams, which is a crap ton of teams. That's significantly more than we have. We have 64. They have double that. That is ridiculous. I couldn't imagine trying to run that tournament in one day. That would be impossible. But anyway, I want to do that with Castnet, and I also want to try to do that with this SECS. Like I said, one of my goals as a person, as a caster, as an admin, as all three of those things, is basically to try to get every single match casted, whether it's, or casted and ticketed, whether it's on Dota TV or not, I don't care. I want to get everything covered. I want to get all 63 matches with casters. That would be freaking awesome. So anyway, enough of my thoughts. Nobody cares anymore. Let's go talk about this summary because I've held you guys much too long. We're going into the 40-minute mark, and I need water. So in summary, congratulations to Ham Clubhouse. Also, shout out to you, Hamtaro. That was a freaking awesome show. And also Totally Spies. That was an awesome show too. And to some extent, I don't know, My Little Pony. I actually had a conversation where I was trying to explain to somebody why My Little Pony was such a decent show that like people are going crazy about it. And it's not a horrible show. Like a lot of people look at it and say, oh, it's just ponies and it's gay and this and that. And I was like, no, bro, chill. It's a decently written show. It's well drawn out art. I've watched a few episodes. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I can see where people get like a huge fan of it. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Sorry, that's another off-topic talk. Yes, like I said, congratulations to Ham Club. You guys did fight well, and you won this tournament. I think you won the final in a very convincing fashion. I don't really remember, or maybe it was a long drawn-out match. I don't know. Too many matches I've been watching. Also, the lobby waiting time. Like I said, the official rule that we're going to write down, is basically 20 minutes from when you notified the admin. And just to clarify on that too, because even that's kind of vague, it's 20 minutes from when the admin determines that it starts a 20-minute period. So basically the admin, like I said, has to go check and make sure the other team is not still playing. And if they are, that timer is going to be delayed. And then as soon as that team is done, the timer starts. And just to let you guys know as well, once that 20 minutes pass up, because it's a whole entire 20 freaking minutes, that's an automatic disqualification. Just to let you guys know up front. If the other team has notified us that, hey, the team's not here and fully ready, and oh yeah, that's another thing I need to clarify too. In that 20-minute time period, what we mean is that basically the match must be, like, you must be ready, the match must be started. If it's like 19:59 and you have one person still missing, and then it hits that 20-minute mark and we catch wind of it and then we look at it and you only got 4 people for your team, then you guys are just straight out, flat out disqualified. That match is not going to get played. So keep that in mind. Please be prompt, please be on time, because we want things to happen, and we want them to happen in a timely manner. And item drops on Twitch. So you guys know you can get some item drops through Twitch. Of course, the streamer has to have it connected, and you as a viewer have to have it connected if you guys are watching as a viewer. And if you guys are playing in the tournament as well, if you have it connected and you go become a viewer afterwards, or because you have downtime or something, you could potentially get item drops. Now, I'm not too sure if you can get a double item drop chances because you're on Twitch TV and on Dota TV, but that would be kind of cool. So anyway, this video is hitting about the 40-minute mark, so I'm going to try to cut it before that happens. My name is Cool Blue. I just brought you guys the Sunday Evening Cup Series report. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys whenever.